Yes, Kelly, it's our favorite conversational point.
Yes, we have a bowl, for those people listening, of questions that are disguised, folded up. We're going to reach in, pick out one question, and we will start discussing it.
All right, shall we each pick one, and then you'll start with your question first?
No.
No?
Do you...
What would you like to do?
Well, let's just do one question at a time, and then we'll pick another.
Okay.
When we finish it.
So it looks like you're the picker then. Please shut your eyes and don't break the glass.
Oh, I picked one of my own.
How shocking.
Okay, so the question reads, how do you know, or what are the signals that a relationship is out of balance? And then the follow-up question is, and how do you go about assessing this?
That's a good one. Do you want to read it one more time for us?
How do you know, or what are the signals that a relationship is out of balance? And then we'll, in the course of that, discuss how one goes about to assess that.
Okay.
And then, of course, we'll talk about how to rebalance, I would think, as we keep going.
I have to ask, are you going to preface this with telling us how you came to this question?
Well, does it need?
It doesn't need it, but I think it might be an interesting backstory because, we both put these different questions in the bowl.
Yes. So several weeks ago, or even probably a few days ago, given how our relationship advances at the rate it does, we were talking about balance and the constant attention that is needed in a relationship to the balance between the two people. And I think yours and my conversation was around the balance between, I think, time together versus time apart, and then the balance of, each one of us individually working on our own selves or profession or growth or whatever that is, and then there's the together in the relationship working on that. And so how do you find balance, and how do you know when it's out of balance, and those kinds of things? So we had that conversation.
I'm glad you remember.
And
it all blends into one.
Yeah, and so as I was thinking about, well, what would be an interesting question or topic for this kind of discussion, I thought that one is really good, because since you and I had that conversation, it's on my mind quite a bit. Because I have this thought about balance and how we as organisms seek always to have balance in our bodies. Right. So our bodies are, unbeknownst to us, are constantly working on trying to balance. Mostly we end up out of balance, which is a lot of the conversation that you probably have with you, your friends, your family, whatever, which is like my case right now. My stomach is upset, so
something's out of balance.
Exactly. Or right. So all those things that, from small to really big, balance tends to be a topic, and we don't really ever talk about two people in an intimate relationship or in intimacy,
right?
And the importance of balancing through that, and the fact that it is a constant
negotiation.
Yeah, and tuner, a factor. Yeah, just imagine if we had to be on a seesaw or a teeter-totter. Right. And our goal wasn't to keep moving up and down, but to stay parallel.
Which is kind of funny that's an interesting expectation, as we were speaking about previously. I think one of the first things that happens is you notice that you are out of balance. So that could be uncomfortable feelings. You feel tired. The relationship feels like it's taking more than it's giving. So I think we notice out of balance more so, but then recently, to tie into that in some fashion with expectation, I also think there's a natural range of out of balance. And so let's say on the teeter-totter, we can't really hang it parallel, but we could dip and go higher to lesser or a more peaceful degree, or we could go crazy and go super high, super low, super high, super lows. And eventually you're going to feel sick, I think, if you're pitching and wailing like that. So first what comes to me is to, like, you're the master of your own ship, to stay in balance for yourself. So to know your boundaries, your limits, really your needs. So why do you need the relationship, and what way do you need the relationship? And then when is it out of balance, and does that have a connection between your needs, the expectations, and this sense of balance? Because when I think of balance, I think of contentment, not in a dead way, not like, oh, I'm contented and asleep and dull, but I feel satiated. So I'm not too hungry or too full. And it's kind of, I feel fed in the right way, and that makes me feel balanced. But let's say you and I hang out 2 days beyond where we should have for whatever reason, because we've gotten a habit of doing things, or we had a project and we needed to, and I haven't had enough alone time. I would probably start feeling like I want to push away. And that's how I would probably know that I'm out of balance. How am I assessing that? Probably through desire. Am I desiring to be here or not? If I'm not, why? So that's what I have to say on that so far.
So it seems to me that there are quite a few people in the world who may have not done the early work of understanding themselves.
Okay.
Understanding themselves vis-a-vis another person. So, as you said, what do you need out of another? And understanding what makes their life balanced, and so then it feels like the reactions that people have in relationships are those pitch and yawns that you talked about on the teeter-totter of, I've got this emotional low followed by an explosion, if you will. But the pause to say, why am I feeling like this, is usually, well, it has been absent in other relationships I've had, in which you don't seek to point the finger at necessarily sort of at the other person, if you will, because of the cabinet door that got left open.
Okay.
Right? I mean, that seems to be like, they're not unrelated actions or items that suddenly become the cause of my angst, or cause of the pitch, right?
Like symbolic.
Yeah.
So it's magnified.
Yeah, exactly.
But really it's something else.
And really it's probably this balance issue.
Okay.
Right?
Or not taking care of your own needs.
Or not taking care of your own needs, yeah. So what do you say to folks who are
not self-aware?
Yes.
maybe you guys start by looking at yourself. I mean, I think that's an interesting and important point. If you're going to be in relationship, I mean, friendships, parents, employer, not to mention intimate relationships, is like, it is always two to tango. And if you can't assume some of that, 50, okay, at least 40% of any issue, I think you're not looking inside enough. I mean, because the fact that we attract so much that we believe, at least I think this, the law of attraction, you manifest the person you're with, very likely in some degree. They're often mirroring you, either an opposite effect or similar effect. And thus, whatever's irritating me about the cabinet door being left open, it's actually something about myself, maybe my need to control, or the fact that I can't even talk to you about anything, including the cabinet door, that clearly there's an issue there. Does that make sense?
It does. And so in thinking about somebody who may not have done that work,
then you're just reacting if you aren't self-aware.